All right, Coast to Coast Combat Hour. Ed Carbajal along with Matthew Hawkins on our 1 year anniversary. What's going on, Matt?
What's up, man? We made it a year.
Yeah,
50 something episodes, man. It's been a blast. Especially,
yeah. I think it's 52 or 53, which there's 52 weeks in a year. So I mean, we've been pretty consistent even with that downtime we had. We've managed to fill up some airtime. So obviously, I mean, there's been a lot of stuff going on. I know you watched the fights over the weekend. What did I watch? I already forgot. But I mean, obviously, the world of MMA is spinning right now. So you and I, the last time we talked about anything was for 235, wasn't it? About the refereeing and stuff like that.
yeah, we didn't get a chance to go over some of that stuff. I don't believe post of or no, we did talk about the Askren stuff, and then
Yeah.
we uh, we got thrown off with our huge interview with Stephen Thompson last week. But yeah, I caught the Wichita event. I go to one of the new San Diego football team, the AAF team. So not one of your things, but I caught that, and then when I got home, I watched the ESPN Plus card and some decent fights, some ups and downs, some slow fights, some good fights. But for me, the big ones were the big heavyweight fights, and that was Ben Rothwell and Blagoy Ivanov. Both got Rothwell coming off about 2.5 years since his PED suspension, and Ivanov coming off his UFC debut in a fairly close loss to Junior Dos Santos, and it fight ended up going to decision. It was a close fight. I know there was a little controversy. A lot of people, at least online, thought Rothwell won. I had Blagoy winning 29-28, 2 rounds to 1. Um, I might be a little biased towards Ivanov. I think the general crowd of Twitter is probably more biased towards Rothwell. And like I said, it was a really close fight, so could see it going either way. But turned out to be a big win for Blagoy, the former World Series of Fighting heavyweight champion. So I think it was big for him. I'm not sure what Rothwell where he fits in for the rest of his career at this point. He's been around a long time, uh, but a couple fairly exciting heavyweights in a heavyweight division that's really trying to revamp itself after a little bit of a down period, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, Ivanov is one of those guys that I always liked him ever since I saw him go against. He's another old school or former World Series of Fighting heavyweight. So he was always one of those guys that when he transitioned over, I thought he was gonna have. I mean, he did all right. Like right, he won was a decision, right?
The fight with JDS, yeah, it was a close fight.
No,
One,
but the one against Rothwell.
yeah, he
He,
won. He won
yeah,
the
yeah,
fight.
it was a
Yeah.
decision. Yeah,
Yes.
so it was one of those ones that I always thought he'd like come in a little sort of like the way Marlon came in, like he had that first fight and he lost the decision. Then he got his UFC uh, feet underneath him, I guess. Got used to being in that type of promotion, and then started racking up wins. And he's another former champ from there. So all those former champs, I feel like they're always going to be around the top of the top 15, top 10 when they transfer over to the UFC and get a title shot at some point. But yeah, he's a durable dude. So I was glad to see that he won that.
Yeah, I mean, he jumped right into it. When you make your UFC debut headlining against Junior Dos Santos, you're not screwing around. You're getting thrown right to the sharks, and then a fight with Rothwell. I thought it was a big win for him. To start off 0-2 would be tough to recover from. Fans know who Rothwell is. He'll be able to sell tickets and line up fights down the line, even with this loss. But a loss for Blagoy, I think, would have done some damage to his career going forward. The following fight after that wasn't a heavyweight fight. It was a welterweight fight. Nico Price and Tim Means. If you're going to catch one fight from the night, the card, I would. Well, the main event turned out to be good, but this fight was quite the barn burner. Both guys came out swinging. Means hurt Price early with some punches, and Price rebounded and in the middle of a huge flurry landed and knocked out Means cold. Actually, the follow-up shot on the ground. Means actually dislocated his ankle. Kind of did get a crow cop
I
like
saw
against
that. Yeah.
Gonzaga. So I saw that he was out of surgery. I think everything went well there, and he's going to recover. But definitely a fight of the night.
Did you see?
Candidate.
Talking about surgery. Did you see Usman had hernia surgery? Like on Tuesday.
I saw it today. I saw it said he
Yeah.
was recovering from it. I didn't see the news prior, but I
Yeah, I wrote a piece over at My MMA News. You mentioned Tim Means surgery, and that Usman surgery kind of caught me off guard. And so when I did the homework from MMA Junkie and saw that he put on Instagram that he was recovering from hernia surgery, I was just like, wow, another hernia in the UFC. Like him and Whitaker are like it's like almost like a month after month.
yeah, you don't you don't really hear about it up until the last month. So
Yeah.
that is a bit strange. But yeah, I mean, he deserves a little time off. He might as well heal up. No reason to push it coming off of his huge win over Tyron
So
Woodley.
But I didn't mean to jump off topic. I mean, you were talking about the Nico Price and Tim Means. So did I mean from you saw it? I didn't see it because I'm not a plusser like you. Although though how you've become one, it's pretty damn clever. But we'll keep that between us. But how did you see that fight? Like, was he really on his way out and it was a come from behind victory?
Yeah, I mean, it was just a back and forth. They were
Oh,
both
okay.
throwing big punches, and Means basically dropped him or hurt him. It looked like Price was on his way out, and then he countered, and I mean, they were swinging for the fences, and Price landed a huge shot, and like I said, Means went down. You didn't notice the ankle until afterwards, mainly on Twitter. I don't even think they really acknowledged it. I don't recall
Yeah.
them acknowledging it on the broadcast.
Yeah,
But
it seemed like one of those things that you saw, like I saw it, obviously with all the replays after the fact. So
yeah, and but it was a hell of a fight, and then obviously we had the main event that night, the Junior Dos Santos Derek Lewis, which turned out to be another barn burner. Two guys swinging and hurting each other, and it ended with Junior Dos Santos knocking out Derek Lewis in the second round. But that didn't, Dos Santos got hit hard. He hurt Lewis early on. I can't recall if it was the first or second round, and hit him with a body shot, a kick to the body,
yeah,
and Lewis went kind of bent over, grabbing his stomach, and Dos Santos charged in, and Lewis almost looked like he was playing possum and came up swinging and actually kind of sent Dos Santos reeling. I don't know if it was more just surprise and kind of a push punch as opposed to it actually landing on the chin, but it was a good back and forth. I mean, Dos Santos took some big punches. He looked great in the fight. Um, Lewis came out afterwards, said he had some injuries going in. You never know exactly what that consists of, or how extreme this stuff was. But I brought it up after Dos Santos had his I think it was fight with Tuivasa, and
hmm
I want to see him in DC. I just think him in DC is a great fight. We haven't seen Dos Santos taken down a lot in his career. I can't really recall him ever really being on his back. Maybe Kane had him down on his back
yeah,
for a little while. I know it was seemed like most of it was dirty boxing up against the cage, and perhaps Cormier could redo that, but I don't know, man. I said it after the Tuivasa fight. I'd have a hard time picking against Junior Dos Santos, especially the one we're seeing right now. He
no,
just seems to.
I don't think I picked. I mean, I didn't pick against him either. He's definitely. I remember one point he said when he after he came back after one of his injuries or the surgery or whatever he had. He said that he was content with being the gatekeeper, but I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing him get one more shot at at the title with the wins he's been picking up lately.
Yeah, I mean, when I was talking about picking him, when I mentioned it initially, I think we had Yuri Thompson on, and I think both of you guys kind of said you thought you would go with Cormier, and I can understand that pick if they were in a hypothetical fight. But I don't know. I just to me that's a fight that's interesting just because when Cormier fought Miocic, we kind of figured it would be a slug out, and that's what it turned out to be. And Cormier landed the punch that eventually put out Stipe. Um, we figured this would be another swinging. I don't know. I don't know what Cormier's style going into that fight would be. I imagine he would try to back him up against the cage and keep the distance awfully close because you don't want to get on the outside when Dos Santos is winging those huge right hands. But I don't know. That's just, to me, that's the heavyweight fight that I want to see right now. I mean, obviously Lesnar brings some eyes and a spectacle event to it, but I think if we're talking the two best heavyweights in the UFC right now, I think we're talking probably JDS and Daniel Cormier. And in a real sport, I think that's the fight that would happen. But I do think if Lesnar has been able to stay clean, I don't know. I haven't checked this drug testing. I don't know if he's been tested at all lately, but I think that's the fight we'll probably end up getting. But I don't know. I'd love to see that fight. That would be, to me, that's a true heavyweight championship fight.
So talking about that, I mean, obviously, more people are leaning toward. You saw every time Dana White does something random, people start wondering why he's doing it. So he tweeted those smiley face emojis like a day or two ago. Did you see that?
I did see that. Yes.
So like obviously people are like, well, what are you so happy about? My go-to was, you have Cormier Lesnar for International Fight Week in July, because that would be something for him to. That's a huge main event that will bring a lot of people to Vegas. All the casuals spend their money. Hell, I would even try to go, maybe, if I could afford it. But now that you say that, I wouldn't mind if that wouldn't be a bad fight either. That's more of a non-casual MMA fan fight though. Dos Santos versus Cormier.
I mean, if you ask me for the perfect card in a fight week scenario, I'd want to see JDS Cormier and John Jones Lesnar. I think that would, it would be, kind of mix it up a little bit. I don't know if Cormier would go for that. I think but perhaps maybe it doesn't make a difference. Maybe Lesnar just being on the card gets the pay-per-view buys and Cormier just takes the money and fights, the proper number one contender. But I mean, that's a hell of a little mix there if Jones is willing to go up to heavyweight, or Jones versus Dos Santos, another fight that, two big guys. If Jones isn't cutting weight, I don't think there's a huge size difference. There'll probably be some thickness on Dos Santos that Jones might not have, but there's plenty of time right now between now and then for Jones to bulk up, and we know he seems to have no problems adding picograms. So I don't know.
And Nevada has no problem with him having them. So
well, yeah, California has no problem. Maybe they'll do like a WrestleMania 2 thing where they'll have fights in multiple cities so that people can cheat and do whatever they want wherever they want to have the fight.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, who knows what they're gonna do? We're talking the bigger draws. Chris Cyborg's one of the bigger draws. I don't even know if the UFC knows what they're gonna do with her anymore. And where does Cejudo go from here, coming off that huge win?
Yeah,
seems like there's a lot in limbo right now. It seems like we hit these periods.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I almost made when I wrote the piece on Usman's surgery, I almost went off on this other tangent where and I'm glad we're bringing it up now. It's almost like all the champions, if they're not injured or on the shelf and there's an interim situation going on, then there's other stuff going on that's keeping them from fighting, and the UFC, which leaves the UFC scrambling and the fans wondering, what do we have, like with the stuff that Conor, like now he's got to be in court in April for that the incident in Florida. So
what's your take on that, if you don't mind me asking? Conor was obviously arrested over the last couple nights for apparently grabbing a fan's phone who was trying to take a picture or some video of him and smashing it and then walking off. I've seen mixed opinions online, and I didn't know what your stance on that was.
Oh, sorry, I'm just getting a message. What was that again? Sorry.
No, I didn't know what your take was. I mean, I'll give mine real quick on the Conor McGregor situation. I've seen mixed opinions online about whether, as far as what he's, whether he, brought it upon himself being a superstar, or if it's just something that, if it was the fans' fault. And, I just, I think there is something to the fact that he gets paid what he gets paid to kind of be that superstar. He wanted to be the famous fighter. I'm sure it's a pain in the ass having people take pictures of you all the time, but you certainly can't grab somebody's phone, smash it, and steal it. I don't think that that's acceptable in any way. I just feel like you want to be the superstar, you want to be the man. Well, that comes along with it, in my opinion. I know there's some fighters who have been against that. Trying to think, Speedy Claxton, I think, said that was a joke to think that. I think I saw Misha Tate today basically saying that he's just got to deal with it. If you want to be the man, you got to deal with what comes along with that. So I don't know. I just was curious what your opinion was. I mean, obviously, me being a fan who likes to meet fighters and stuff. If one, I don't think I'd ever be rude enough to have somebody grab my phone, but if somebody did and smashed it, I'd be happy to watch him get put in handcuffs and taken away.
I don't know, man. I mean, did you see the guy? Did you see the guy?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, but I'm not gonna let you know. Yeah, I saw the guy, so we'll leave it at that. But
no. Well, I'm gonna a little bit. All right. So it's one thing, like you said. Obviously, when you're a celebrity, yeah, you open the door for all that kind of nonsense, or whatever you want to call it. Obviously, you have to expect it and kind of like eat it or whatever you want to say. Deal with it as it comes, but not like that. So, however, it seems to me, and Saad's gonna jump on in a bit. It seems to me that Saad Awad's gonna join us for our 1 year podcast, but it seems to me that like the dude is almost gonna try and make his 15 minutes of fame last off of this, and that makes me wonder. It just makes me wonder if he's sorry, I gotta make sure I get his thing right here.
no,
I
I hear what
you know
you're
what I mean?
saying.
Like if he's fishing for some type of celebrity.
Yeah, no, I mean I get that, and there is that, but I just find it funny when I hear somebody say, basically he's pissed off that people are taking pictures of him. He's coming out of a damn nightclub at 5 a.m. So
Oh.
we are being joined right now by Bellator main event fighter, Bellator 219, Saad Awad.
What
Saad, are
up?
you
What up?
there?
What's up, man?
Can you guys see me?
Can't see you
No.
right now. Got your audio.
Let me see. Let me see how I turn this on real quick. I think it's right there. There it is.
There you go. What's up, man? How
Not
are
much.
you?
Good. How you guys doing?
We're doing
All
great,
right.
man. Thanks for coming on. Couple weeks till your big fight against Brandon Gertz, main eventing Bellator 218 at the Pechanga Indian Reservation Casino here in Temecula, California. How's it feel to be a main event fighter, man? I know you've put in your time, and man, awesome for you. Congratulations.
Nah, man. Thank you. It feels good. It feels good. I mean, we were originally the co-main event, so I won't take too much credit for them building a show around me. But I mean, we were the co-main event, so I'll take credit for that. And it feels good to get kind of pushed up and get promoted a little more. And then now we just got to go out there and fight the way we know how to fight and put on a good show.
Yeah, definitely. Your opponent, Brandon Gertz, I was just saying to Matt before we started recording, I'm like, man, Saad keeps fighting these title challengers. I'm like, when is he going to get his title challenger? I know, obviously, in 208, things didn't go your way, but I mean, obviously, the fight went to a decision. So I'm just wondering, like, what are your thoughts on do you think this is going to be a line, put you in line for like a 155 title shot?
Man, I have no clue. You know what I mean? I was on a 4-fight winning streak, and then I got thrown. Henderson, who was on, I think, a 1-fight winning streak, and then and he derailed me. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I wouldn't doubt he fights one and then fights for a title or something. But I mean, most guys that are up there that are in title contention already fought for a title, and I think it was my time, and I think if I go back to win a couple more, and if it has to be the number 1, number 2, number 3 guy, whoever they are, I'll fight them again and try to get myself right back in title contention.
Obviously, Gertz is a tough fighter. He's fought the who's who of the 155 and 170 weight class. You kind of answered my question earlier. I was going to ask you if this was a fight that was already kind of pre-booked, I guess, or if it was something that was thrown together with the loss of Larkin and Koreshkov. I mean, not to talk down Gertz, but he is 1-4 in his last 4 fights. Were you kind of surprised that he was the guy that was thrown at you? I know obviously you're just going in there to knock somebody out, but
not really. The reason why is because if you've seen the dude fight, like it doesn't matter what his whether he wins or loses. I don't think people pay attention to that with that dude, because he goes out there and fights, and he could sleep anybody on any given night, or he could out wrestle someone on any given night. So whether he wins or loses, he puts on a performance, a winning performance, and I think that's why they set up this fight. And they had asked us to fight before, and and we're scheduled to fight. I don't think they had announced it, and I signed my contract, and then like a week later they pulled him to go fight Chandler. So he jumped up and fought Chandler, and
oh wow!
And then I ended up getting Couture at the time. And that's when I fought Ryan Couture, and that's how me and Ryan Couture came to play. So so I know it was a fight they were trying to make before, and I think it was more of a fan favorite fight. That's why they're doing it. And they set it up this time around. And, we signed our fight, and I think 2 weeks later, that's when the fight pulled out, because they didn't announce it right away. They waited like 2 weeks before they announced it. And then they announced it as the main event, like literally the next day. So it's pretty cool. It's cool. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, no, it's a firework fight. I mean, if you're asking a fight that is kind of in your wheelhouse for, an exciting fight, I can't really think of much better. And like I said, I didn't mean to bash Gertz in any way. He's not losing to chumps. He's fighting Michael Chandler, Derek Campos, Fernando Gonzalez, Adam Picoletti. He's not dodging anybody. He's not losing to prelim fighters. He's fighting top ranked guys in the Bellator division. So that wasn't meant to be any kind of a bash on him. I just meant record wise. I didn't know if it.
So.
Yeah, no, of course. No, I understood it. And I feel the same way about the dude. Like, he is 1-4 in his last, 5 fights. But like I said, any one of those fights could have went his way. You know what I mean? He's not a dude that goes out there and gets his ass whooped. He's a dude that he's in your face, and if he does lose, it's by a split decision, and he did a lot of damage on you. If he's taking a loss, he put a lot of damage on you. So I got to come prepared. I don't look at his losses. I don't look at his wins. I just look at his fighting style. And I know the fighting style that's tapered from my fighting style, and we're both going to go out there and just put on some fireworks.
I think he suffered a shoulder injury though with that, and when he fought Chandler. Yeah. So I'm just wondering if you're going to get a different Brandon Gertz or how. And I'm not trying to, again, like Matt said, I'm not trying to plant any seeds that there's any weaknesses in his game, but I'm just wondering if he's going to come with the same power, or if he's going to be more cautious or favor the shoulder. Is that anything like do you look at past fights? Do you study tape and stuff like that when you're fighting a guy like him?
I do, but when it comes to injuries, I never think about somebody coming into a fight and being cautious about certain things. I know certain guys are like that, but I broke my hands about 5 times in the past 7 years in Bellator, and if you're going to go by, that assumption, then you're going to think I'm not going to go out there and throw my hands the next fight. And, I'll go out there and throw them and break them again. It's not something that holds me back. And, unless his shoulder is limited to throwing a punch, then, maybe he shouldn't be fighting if that's the case. But, he's out there, he's training, he's hitting mitts, he's rolling, he's wrestling, he's doing everything he has to do to prepare for this fight. So I'm pretty sure his shoulder's not going to hold him back, and if it does, that sucks, because then we won't be able to put on, a great fight. But, if it doesn't, then you guys are going to see a hell of a fight.
Yeah, one thing I got to tell you, man, that I find super admirable, as far as, because I've seen you fight a lot, and I've seen you take your losses. Whether they be finishes or decisions. I know you weren't too happy. We spoke privately about the 208 stuff, but the fact that you're so ready. Like, I remember when we were talking about it, you even said, like, you know what, like, it's over. I'm just going to get back to my family, do my thing, and wait for the next one to come. How does that, how do you feel? You feel like you set an example for other fighters when you do stuff like that? Because there's some guys that'll carry a loss into their next few fights, and it seems like you never do.
Yeah, man, you can't do that, man. this window of opportunity of fighting is so small. You know what I mean? If you
Mhm.
carry some, losses with you, you're going to carry a lot. If you carry a loss with you through your fighting career, you're going to carry it with you through your whole life. And that's something that's going to dwell on you. And you're always going to talk about it. And you're not going to be a happy person. You're not going to perform the way you need to perform. There's a lot of negative things that comes with, holding negativity. It's like that saying, you hold you hold a piece of hot coal, waiting to throw it at someone. And, who gets burnt while they're holding it? You just burn yourself. So,
Yeah.
Something I try not to do. I try not to hold grudges, and especially when it comes to the fight game, whether I lose or win. I mean, I feel like I learn the most when I lose a fight. So coming off that loss, I learned a lot. I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about my opponent, and I learned a lot about ring awareness as well. So coming into this next fight, I believe I can bring that one fight experience, which I gained a lot from, believe it or not, and it should help me in this next fight.
Is this a 155 fight or is this a 160 catch weight?
155.
155.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind fighting 60, but I mean, they asked us to fight, they told me I was gonna fight like 3 months ago. So they're basically like, get ready, and I was walking around pretty heavy, so I got my way down pretty fast. So now I'm like coasting where I'm at right now. So I'm doing good.
Is this a point in your camp? Like, I mean, I know just before you jumped on, you had thought that we were scheduled for next week, but the like when you do media and stuff like that, how much of a distraction does it cause for you to be between fight night? Like, what would you prefer as far as how many weeks out between fight night and everything leading up to? Because it seems like they do more media right up until the fight. Like even the last time I talked to you was in New York, right before you fought Henderson, and that's the other thing too, man. If we're 155, you're big as hell. You're pretty tall dude for 155. But
No, man, I eat good. My wife cooks really good. She's a health freak, so everything we eat, like I try to cheat all the time, man. Like literally every day I try to cheat. But she's on it, and she keeps good food around the house, good snacks around the house, and like even if I'm cheating, I'm still like I'm eating something healthy, so it doesn't matter. And obviously I train hard, and I've been doing this for a while, so the weight cut it became easy. This really became easy, and like my last fight, I ate steak the night before weigh-ins. You know what I
oh,
mean?
wow.
So like for me to eat steak the night before weigh-ins is unheard of. So I took all my power with me. I didn't miss a meal. I wasn't sucked up and hurting or any of that stuff. And I was still my percentage of water was really high. Even after I cut weight. So I knew I was still extremely hydrated. I wasn't worried about a thing. And it all comes with experience as well. So that being said, I feel good with the weight cut and about the media and stuff. I mean, obviously, right close to the fight, it does come a headache. It's when stuff gets scheduled when you're busy. But half the time, you're chilling. You know what I mean? So sometimes it's cool to do some media stuff when you're just in the hotel bored and you don't want to go walk around because you don't want to waste energy, but you don't. You can't really sleep, and sometimes media stuff comes along. You're like, cool, I'll jump on, I'll do the interview, knock out 20, 30 minutes of my time, and then go do what I have to do next.
That's cool. I'll keep that in mind next time we're both on location for an event.
Yeah, hit me up, man. I'll let you know as soon as I'm free. I'm like, yeah, I'm free during this time and that time. Let's rock.
So your gym now. You obviously train with Juan Archuleta. Now you've got TJ Dillashaw and Dwayne Ludwig and those guys in there, right? You guys are quite a fight team, right?
Yeah. Dwayne comes down. Like during TJ's camps, he'll come down. Like I think it's like Tuesday through Thursday or something every week. He flies down. He's down there for a couple of days and flies back, and he runs classes. So it's pretty cool. And when he's not there, we still we have the Muay Thai class, which they do like Dwayne's drills. Basically, we have Mark Munoz who teaches the MMA/wrestling class.
Oh wow.
We work with Daryl Christensen as well. And Cub and there's a bunch of guys over there that get some good work within, and it's good because we're all pushing each other to excel.
I mean, you're a knockout guy. I know you always try to knock people out. So has Ludwig given you any new tricks that we might see on the at Bellator 219?
Man, I'm trying to learn from that dude, man. He's like a book of knowledge, man, and all this stuff. Nothing's traditional, so it's like starting over with him, So I mean, I feel like since I've been learning from him, which has been almost a year now since I've been over there. I guess you could say not even a year, well, almost a year. And I still feel like a white belt, I guess you would say, in that respect. But I'm learning, man. I'm learning as much as I can. if I could put something together in a fight, I'll definitely try it. I always try new things in my fights, and sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, and hopefully I'll be able to put some stuff together this fight.
Well, I was at his fight years and years ago when he pulled off a attempted crane kick against Shad Smith at King of the Cage. I think it was King of the Cage 3, actually. It was one of the first events I ever attended. So feel free to do a crane kick at this event. I'll have the camera out.
It might work because Grits is kind of short. So
wow. Don't put ideas in his head, Matt, because
I'll try it, man. I'll try it afterward. I'll try it.
I know you will. The last time we had you on, I told you when I shot cage side for the fight against it was a loss, but you were the one that initiated the let's throw hands, and I was just like, I remember, I think I told you last time, I was like, that's the most gangster shit I ever seen in a fight.
Man, it was fun though. That fight, I think going into that fight in my head, I knew it was gonna be a kind of a slugfest, and I was like, dude, I think I can catch this dude. And I was stuck in my head that I was gonna catch. I think because he was a big wrestler and I didn't want to wrestle him, so I was stuck in my head that we're gonna bang it out. So when he started wrestling me, I'm like, dude, this isn't what's supposed to happen. Like, let's go. I got the short end of the stick that one, so it wasn't too smart of a move. But it is what it is, man. It's fun. I learned from it, and I wouldn't take it back for the world, man. I've never got knocked out in a fight. Really knocked out, and that was one time. So now I know my jaw's not bulletproof, so maybe I'll be a little bit more cautious in some of those exchanges. And it was cool, man. I had fun.
Well, since that fight, you've been on fire.
Yeah.
So
Thanks,
if you learned anything, it seems to be working. So
Sure.
So
the other thing was like you said too. You obviously swing for the fences. I didn't know you broke your hand 7 times. And you still swing for the fences. So it's definitely something that you definitely need to work on, like your memoirs or something for up and coming fighters. Like if you got young guys that train with you, because you've been with Bellator for a while, and about time you're main eventing on something. I don't care how it happened. I think that's great. And those cards at Pachanga, Matt will tell you Matt knows better than I do. He's always there. Those are always the ones that have people, all over social media the next day because of how fire they are.
Oh, I love fighting here, man. I love fighting home. The event's beautiful. The Pachanga's really nice. The buildings, they redid it, and it's small. So no matter where you're at, you have good seats in the house. You can buy a $35 seat, and you're sitting almost cage side compared to some of these, arenas. So I love it. I love that people come and spend a little and get a lot out of it. And then after, everybody runs into each other. So I come down, I hang out with people. We take pictures. Usually go to dinner, walk around, run into a million people, so it's cool. It's cool. I love fighting here, and I'm home. So if I need to drive home, I could drive home. If, my wife, she drives down for weigh-ins, brings the kids, and, they get to come watch it and hang out. And, it's cool, man. I really enjoy fighting at home.
Well, I'd say you get a knockout win here, and then you go to RIZIN. Go.
I asked them, man, because I know that some of the guys were going fighting over there. I was like, dude, that would be dope to fight in Japan. Something I always wanted to do. So, give me one of those fights, and they kind of got shut down. So I don't know. And I see they have a couple guys they've flown out there. I think 2 or 3. And I'll be the first one to sign up if there's that option.
Yeah, well, I know Coker's talked about it, and I feel like we're getting closer and closer to possibly something, maybe not in Japan, but maybe even in Hawaii. Which obviously would change the rule set a little bit, but I say set up a ring, set up a cage, and have a mixed event on Honolulu would be pretty bitchin' setup. I think Awad versus Gomi or something in Japan though would.
Oh, I'd love that fight. That'd be a dream fight. That'd be a dream fight.
I'm calling it right now.
There you go.
Well, yeah. That'd be perfect for you. Especially if they're trying to do a RIZIN versus Bellator with all the different weight classes. You'd fit right in something like that. You're a Bellator staple fighter, so that's
weight class.
Yeah, nice, man.
Yeah,
we'll get the word out that way. When you pick up your win on at 219, the seed will be planted.
Let's do it. Let's do it, man. We'll start it.
Well, that's pretty much all I got. I got to appreciate you coming on again. It's been a big 8 days for us. We had Stephen Thompson on, who's headlining the UFC card coming up in Nashville in a week and a half. And now we got a Bellator headliner. Today's our 1 year anniversary of our show. So, I mean, I can't really ask for.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a blast. This is your second time on. We brought you good luck last time. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be sitting cage side for this one, bringing a couple friends.
Yeah, Matt's luckier than I am because I was at your New York. You do better fighting at home with Matt watching you. I'll watch you from TV.
There we go. There we go.
But again, Gertz versus Awad, Bellator 219, March 29th, Pechanga Indian Reservation, Temecula, California, live on the Paramount Network. Tickets still available through Ticketmaster, or I'm sure you can get a hold of Syed through his social media. Imagine you might be able to get some fans some tickets if they've got some cash for them. And best of luck to you, man.
Yeah, they use the promo code. Just use my last name, AWAD, and then you can find your tickets online. They're going to sell out, so if I'll try to get them at least a week to 2 weeks ahead of time, because I know the venue usually sells out a week out. So
yeah, I keep an eye on the tickets. It looked like there was a few hundred left. So yeah, definitely get them because, like you said, between the gamblers and the people buying tickets, they go quick for that venue. I think it holds 3,500. So, like you said, great seats all around.
So you want to shout out your sponsors or anything before we shut it down?
Yeah, man. Just shout out to you guys for taking your time to interview me. Always good to talk to you guys, and shout out to all the guys at the training lab. Coach Cal, Sam Calavita, that dude's a genius, and all my training partners, Georgie, and all the guys over there, Juan, Cub, all those guys, and yeah, pretty much. Shout out to all the sponsors that are going to be supporting me for this fight. The 86ers and Garden Life and all the other guys that are out there. Sorry, I can't think right now, but I got you guys.
No, you mentioned Georgie real quick. He was just added to the main event against Emmanuel Sanchez at Bellator 218. So fans can catch that fight on the 22nd, the week before the Pechanga card. So
yeah, we're headlining back to back. So 1 week
nice.
You get my boy Georgie main event, and then you get me the next week. So should be fun, man. Back to back weeks of some good fights.
Nice.
Awesome. Representing SoCal, I love it.
I love it too. I love it too. Even though I'm in Jersey, I love it.
All right, Syed. Thank you for joining us, man, and good luck. And I'll be seeing you around your fight time.
All right, cool. Thank you. All right, no, thank you guys. Take care.
Take care.